Hey there, retro lovers. We've got a great story for you today. A tale about how Darnell's big shortcut, back in the summer of '76, turned into one big mess. But before we dive in, let me tell you about Throwback Prints. Head over to throwbackprints.com or our Etsy shop, where you'll find personalized t-shirts, mugs, and more. Whether it's for birthdays, anniversaries, family reunions, or just repping that old-school vibe, we've got something for everyone. Perfect for celebrations, branding, or making a special memory last forever. Now, get comfy. It's story time. You ever have one of those days where a little plan turns into a big mess? Well, that's exactly what happened to Darnell Johnson back in the summer of '76. 13 years old, he was at that age where he thought he was smarter than every adult in the neighborhood, and that they wouldn't notice a thing. Now, Darnell wasn't a bad kid. He did his chores, helped carry groceries for Miss Alma next door, and only talked back when he was real sure he could get away with it. But school was a whole different story. It was a sweltering June afternoon, the kind where the blacktop shimmered with heat, and every kid in the neighborhood was counting the days to summer break. Darnell sat in social studies, staring out the window at the ice cream truck jingling its way down the block. That's when he decided, man, who's gonna miss social studies anyway? I'm out. His plan was foolproof. He'd slip out during lunch, hit up Mr. Earl's corner store for some penny candy, then head over to the park and cool off under the shade of the big oak tree. Maybe he'd even find a way to hop on the ice cream truck for a free ride around the block. Darnell was sure he'd be back before anyone noticed. First stop, Mr. Brian Earl's grocery, the unofficial headquarters of the neighborhood. You didn't just go there to shop. You went to catch up on gossip, complain about the heat, and listen to Mr. B. Earl's theories about who'd win the next boxing match. Darnell walked in, trying to look as inconspicuous as a kid skipping school could. He grabbed a pickle from the giant jar on the counter, the kind you had to fish out with tongs, and paired it with a red Kool-Aid from the fountain. He paid Mr. Mom Earl with a crumpled dollar bill and was halfway out the door when he heard the dreaded words, "Boy, why ain't you in school? Don't make me call your mama." Darnell froze. His heart skipped a beat, but he turned back with a smile. "I'm just on my lunch break, Mr. Earl. I'll be heading back real soon." Mr. Earl squinted at him, but before he could say another word, Darnell was out the door and halfway down the block. Next stop, the park. This was where the action happened. Stickball games, jump rope competitions, and if you were lucky, a water balloon fight. Darnell spotted a group of older kids playing stickball and decided to join in. He wasn't half bad either. At least, not until he hit the ball straight through Mrs. Mobile Jenkins's living room window. Now, Ms. Jenkins wasn't just any neighbor. She was the block watchdog. She had a sixth sense for trouble and a broomstick that she wielded like a samurai's sword. The second the glass shattered, her head popped out of the window like a jack-in-the-box. "Darnell Johnson, I see you, boy. You better get over here before I tell your mama." Darnell didn't wait to hear the rest. He bolted down the alley, hopping fences like an Olympic hurdler. His heart was pounding, but he was smiling. "I'll just head back to school," he thought. "No one will even know I was gone." By the time he reached the classroom, his shirt was drenched in sweat, and his knees were scraped from climbing over a particularly stubborn fence. But he made it. He slipped into his desk, leaned back, and let out a sigh of relief. And that's when he saw her. Standing at the front of the room, arms crossed, was Mama Johnson. Darnell's stomach dropped. Turns out Mr. Earl had called his mama, and she'd wasted no time tracking him down. Mama Johnson didn't yell. She didn't need to. She just looked at him and said, "Boy, I don't care about no pickle or stickball. You embarrassed me in front of the whole neighborhood. Now sit down and finish this class before you see what embarrassment really feels like." The entire class erupted in laughter, and Darnell sank so low in his seat he was practically on the floor. He made it through the rest of the day without a peep, but he knew the real lesson was waiting for him at home. That summer, Darnell learned 2 important things. 1, you can't outrun the neighborhood grapevine. And 2, if you're gonna skip class, you better pray your mama doesn't find out first. Thanks for taking this trip down memory lane with us. If you enjoyed this story, hit that subscribe button for more episodes of Back in the Day, and don't forget to check out Throwback Prints.com for personalized retro-inspired t-shirts, mugs, and more. Celebrate memories and keep the good times alive.